Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to everyone who has joined this webinar conducted by Commonwealth CEMBA-CEMPA Alumni Association, commonly known as CEMBA-CEMPA, Commonwealth Master of Business Administration and Public Administration. This is a series of webinars we have conducted for the benefit of our membership and all other ladies and gentlemen, in keeping in line with our knowledge sharing platform. Let me warmly welcome every one of you for today's webinar, Happiness and Joy Through Inside Out. Since we are almost now behind schedule by a few minutes, I would like to introduce our resource person today. He is none other than our own president of the Alumni, a product of Nalanda Vidyalaya, Dr. Shenaz Dharmarathne. He has a doctorate, Doctor of Business Administration in Supply Chain Management. Dhananjay had worked for two multinationals, namely British American Tobacco, Ceylon Tobacco, and Coca-Cola, and joined Brandix Apparels, and then moved to Lanka Hospitals, currently working as a Deputy General Manager, Supply and Stores at Sri Lanka Development Corporation. Fellow member of Institute of Supply and Material Management, ISMM. He was a visiting lecturer at OUSL, ICBT, ISMM, and ZRIDA, and freelance supply chain professional. Represented Sri Lanka as the General Secretary of Table Tennis Association of Sri Lanka, and was the President and General Secretary of Mercantile Table Tennis Association of Sri Lanka. Again, master level in mindfulness practitioner course offered by the Academy of Modern Physiology in the UK. Master trainer attached to Sati Pasana, which is very much famous in the country. And he had given the message of mindfulness to 4,111 plus adults and children across the country. Dr. Dhananjay is no stranger to Open University. He has been doing a lot of his studies at Open University. One of the longest period he has been associating with the Open University of Sri Lanka. In fact, always when he speaks to us, he used to speak about the mindfulness. With that short introduction, may I now invite our president and the resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Dhananjay, to proceed with the proceedings. Over to you, Dhananjay.
Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Yajith. You can hear me, Yajith?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
loud and clear.
Right. Thank you once again for CEMBA Alumni for giving me this opportunity. So this is not just another webinar. I'm sure at the end of this session and during the session, you will be transformed positively, and also the techniques that we are going to learn will be very useful for you in your day-to-day life as well as your professional life. So, and also I would like all of you to switch off your mobile phones or switch off your connections to the outside world, and switch on your videos, because this is the first time I'm doing this on Zoom. As Yajith very correctly said, we have done this program or this practice for 4,111. That is from 17th March up to 3rd December this year. I take a quote from Henapola Gunarathana Thero. He writes in his book, Mindfulness in Plain English, breath is a phenomenon common to all living beings. Breathing in, breathing out is a miniature model of life itself. So we know the time of our birth, and until we die, the breathing happens. So this is a technique that we are going to use, how to align ourselves to our breathing, which is a normal phenomenon. And if you take the breathing, it is unison. Every one of us in this world breathing at a same pace. So we will tend to understand this as we go along. And also, this is a technique for us to look at ourselves. It's called insight meditation, because most of the time we are used to look at outside and try to solve some other person's problem. And most of you are corporate employees or adults. Just look at yourself and remind yourself and see how many of you are taking medicine for high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetics, allergies, commonly known as non-communicable diseases. So this is a proven method. If you practice properly, you can be avoid or you can be without these non-communicable diseases. So my objective is today to make you aware of this practice, which is a practice given by our forefathers. Everybody is having this ability. Only thing is, what we are trying to do today is to make that ability a skill for you all, for which we need to do this practice regularly. Very simple practice, but there is a lot of gain to ourselves. So with that note, I will share my presentation with you all. This is, we have about 40 slides to take you through. Can you all see the slide, the presentation?
Yes, we can see, Dr. Dhananjay.
Right, okay. As Yajith very correctly said, it is happiness and joy through inside out, being in the present moment. So for us to gain the benefit of the practice, you have to be totally be with me. So let's try to make sure that we are seated comfortably and there are no distractions or any other uneasiness or uncomfortable posture that you are in. So there is a reason why I have used flowers in my first slide, because flower is an object or a thing that we give it to somebody when we are sad as well as we are happy. So that's why we have used flowers to our presentation. And also there is another meaning. The taste or the thing that is most important in a flower is inside the flower. We will be talking about it as we go along. So with that note, we will just watch this video done by in USA and UK. What are the benefits of mindfulness? After that, we will move on to our presentation.
Before I tried mindfulness, I felt threatened all the time.
Really disillusioned with life.
Confused.
Tired. Stressed. Frustrated.
Scattered all over the place.
Overwhelmed. Anxiety over the future. Worried. It was kind of taking over my life. I tried mindfulness because I felt stressed out. I was very concerned with the future and what my day was going to look like tomorrow and everything that was happening.
My life was always about what happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future. So by doing mindfulness, I live much more in the now. It is just a different approach to life.
We all experience difficult challenges in our life, like stress, pain, and depression. Mindfulness can give us resilience to rise above those challenges and live life more fully. Mindfulness is a particular type of meditation where we bring our awareness to the present moment. We can let go of the past, let go of the future, live life more fully, more joyfully.
We all are too busy. I think it's a thing that everybody's just so busy all the time right now.
You always have something that you have to do, or you're always going towards a certain goal. And mindfulness is just taking a moment to look at your life without any expectations.
Take time for yourself rather than getting carried off in all the daily activities that you have.
Mindfulness can be practiced by anyone, no matter what your religion, your age, or your background. We don't have to wait until we have time to do like a formal sitting meditation to practice mindfulness. We can bring that same mindful awareness to any activity that we're doing through our daily lives. So walking can be a meditation. Eating our lunch, brushing our teeth, being creative, painting, writing, or playing music can get us deeply in touch with the present moment. Mindfulness is available anytime, anywhere.
It's a tool and skill that you can use for the rest of your life, and it's easy through simple daily or not daily exercises.
I mean, it just keeps us all just calm and present, and I think that that's healthy for anybody.
It can be beneficial for everyone, and you just have to go in with an open mind and take everything slowly instead of trying to get through life quickly and do as much as I can and as fast as I can do it. Instead, just enjoy everything you do and maybe look at life from a more positive perspective.
So I really invite you all to try it, to experience it, and to see for yourself how mindfulness might be able to affect and transform your own life.
Thank you. And it says mindfulness can be practiced anytime, any place, with anyone that you like. So before we jump into our today's session, I would like everyone to have a beginner's mind. Most of you must be having some sort of experience in meditation. So I want you all to take that, whatever the learnings, whatever the experience you have from your mind for this 45 to 50 minutes, then only you will be able to grasp what you are trying to share. So I will just go through some of these sayings. The expertise in everything was once a beginner. If in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but if you think you are expert, there are very few possibilities. And also in beginner's mind, when your mind is empty, it is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. So we are also beginners to this mindfulness practice. So every time when you act as a beginner, you tend to learn more. But if you think that you know everything, your mind gets shut off and you will not be able to grasp what we are trying to say. On the other hand, an expert mind is an attitude taken when someone believes they know enough about something in order to achieve what they need to. I don't have to explain all this. So when you have expert attitude, so they believe that they know enough, they tend to shut off their learning process. And also, although an expert may know a lot, an expert mindset provides a narrow point of view that can block from finding new and better solutions to a problem. So when we all know when you have a beginner's mind, you tend to learn a lot of things. It's like acting like a child. Finally, a beginner, however, will not see a right or wrong way to approach a problem or situation. So today, what we are trying to discuss, there is nothing called right or wrong. This is how we are feeling as individuals we are going to discuss. So always try to be open to what I say and what we are trying to discuss with a beginner's mind. Also, there is one other rule. You need to impede or factors from these are the things that it will take your mind away or wander. So that we will try to not do this during this session. For example, noise, physical discomfort, interruption, mobile phones, all is shut off and we are sitting comfortably. And response rehearsal, very important. This occurs when you switch off from listening to the other person, often through impatience, and instead focus on what you want to say next. As a result, you don't actually hear what the other person is saying. So when you do response real, this is all a mind game. When you are listening to a lecture, listening to a discussion as at now, or listening to someone in your office or at home, you try to not to listen what the other person is saying. You are trying to foresee the next move. So by doing that, you will not tend to grasp what the person is saying. And also fact finding. This occurs when you search for the facts and details of what someone is saying instead of listening to the overall message they are trying to communicate. Very important. Fact finders often focus on what's not right. They are so focused on the imperfections of that person someone is communicating that they actually miss what is important. So most of us do this. We are trying to see the imperfections of the person who is trying to explain and tend to not listen it properly and take the message that he is trying to do. So this, for us to practice this, we need to have a beginner's mind. Moving on, being judgmental is very important. When you form judgments about the other person as opposed to listening to them and seeking to understand them. So you make a judgment. Who is this person teaching us this subject which I know very well? And when you have that attitude, you tend not to understand the message. And problem solving. This occurs when you try to problem solve and find solution to the other person's problem instead of listening. So here, what we are trying to inculcate during these few minutes, during these slides, is to develop and understand what is mindful listening is. Imposing personal view is another thing that impede mindfulness, considering your own viewpoint to be the only correct one and therefore being close to the views of others. This often takes the form of focusing on your own opinions, giving advice, etc. So all this happens when you try to be an expert and try to have your own understanding without listening to the person. And daydreaming, this always happens to us. We try to tend to have stories in us. This occurs when you hear something that triggers a chain of unrelated thoughts in your mind. You become distracted and preoccupied by your own world and often adopt a glaze far away look. So this always happens when you listen to somebody, whether it's interesting or not, we try to daydream. So all this is a thing that we can control through our mind, which we are trying to learn today. Finally, selective listening. This occurs when you think you have heard the main points or you have got the gist of what the other person is trying to say. You filter out what they perceive as being of key importance and then stop listening. So this is what happens to most of us. That's why some people are very good at listening and applying what they learn to their day-to-day life and during their exams. But there are few people, they think that they have listened to and they have heard the whole story and they try not to listen to it. So my friends, we will try to be open to what we are trying to discuss and be mindful listeners as we go along. Okay, moving on. So this is what we are trying to cover today during our session. So we'll be talking about the external environment. All the time we are more concerned about our external environment. We'll be defining the mindfulness in a very brief way, and what is tension and stress, and what is our user manual. Also the science, what are the findings with regards to mindfulness, and we will have a brief discussion, but we'll be having a Q&A at the end. But before that, we will have a brief discussion, how we understand what we are trying to discuss. Then very importantly, everyone wants to be happy at the end of the day. We do everything. We find a job, we find a wife, we do sports, we do extracurricular activities to make ourselves happier. So how we can have a how we can maintain this happiness throughout our lives is what we are trying to learn, and how we are trying to practice what we are learned. That is, we will do a very short session on mindful standing and sitting, and I will do a brief discussion of Satipasal as Yajith informed. So this is a place where it totally transformed my life. So I hope same thing will happen to all of us, and how we can use this mindfulness during our daily activities. And this is a subject that they have introduced to our local curriculum, social and emotional learning. And also finally, we will be discussing how mindfulness can save lives. Right. So this is the external environment where all the time we are worried about this, and we try to solve problems of the external people or parties where we miss the bus by not looking at ourselves. But there is nothing major that we can do about this external environment, but we as humans, our minds are so used to trying to solve another person's problem or an issue. So we are today, at the end of this session, what we are trying to learn is how to solve the problem within us. So if we can understand that, we can be happy all the time. So if you go through the last quote, the United Nations Secretary, where he had to do a presentation or a speech on COP27, but he was mistakenly given a different document which he is supposed to read it after this presentation. So at that moment, the secretary is also not mindful, and the person who prepared the document also was not mindful. So this is a thing that we can use when we practice this properly. We can be mindful all the time. So with that, the mindfulness and the yoga exercises goes hand in glove, because yoga, most of us tend to understand yoga as a different or a difficult postures in our body. But when you connect mindfulness into yoga, what it does is it tries to align your breath to the physical activity that you are going to do. And also this is the newest trend where we can earn a lot of foreign exchanges through spiritual tourism. This has already started in Sri Lanka. There are a lot of places in Sri Lanka where Westerners, the citizens from US, UK, Germany, New Zealand, everywhere comes only to meditate and then go back to their countries, because they have found out the UN is now talking about spiritual stability. All the time they were talking about the political stability, economic stability, but they were not concerned about spirituality or the things that will happen to the human beings. Now they have indexes to measure the happiness of human beings. So I will just share with you exercise, which this exercise is called yoga for success. Just look at the video. Don't concentrate on the people who are in the video, but take the message. This is available in YouTube. You can do this every day in the morning. You will have a more productive day. Your lethargy, everything will be taken away. Just listen to this video and watch it. So we will, normally when I do sessions, I do this exercise, but this time is not very conducive to do that, but just watch it.
Yoga for success. The neck practices. Both the neurological and the energy systems branch out in a big way between the shoulder blades and above. So keeping the neck region in a good condition is very important. Within 3 to 4 minutes of doing these neck practices, you will distinctly see that you are much more alert and the lethargy in the body will be obliterated there is a higher level of neuronal regeneration, memory and intellectual sharpness also improves.
Now we will do a certain set of practices for the neck. This will help you to relax the stiffened muscles in the neck and shoulder region. We will look at the first 3 neck practices now. Please observe. Stand with your feet comfortably apart and parallel to each other. Keep your arms and shoulders loose and relaxed. Make sure your neck is loose like a rope. No stiffness of any sort. Eyes closed. As you exhale, slowly and gently lower your chin to your chest. This is the starting position. Now, as you inhale, gently bring your head up and take it back. As you exhale, bring your head down to your chest. This is 1 cycle. You would do this 3 times. Now we will see the second neck practice. As you inhale, slowly and gently turn your head to the right, to the extreme point. As you exhale, bring it back to the center. Now, as you inhale, slowly and gently turn your head to the left, to the extreme point that you can turn. As you exhale, bring it back to the center. This is 1 cycle. You would do this 3 times. And now we will see the third neck practice. As you exhale, slowly and gently bring your right ear towards your right shoulder, to the extreme point you can go. As you inhale, bring it up. As you exhale, slowly and gently bring your left ear towards your left shoulder, to the extreme point you can go. As you inhale, bring it up. This is 1 cycle. You would do this 3 times. Now we will learn the 4th and 5th neck practices. Again, feet are comfortably apart and parallel to each other. Eyes closed. As you exhale, lower your chin to your chest. This is the starting position. As you inhale, slowly and gently rotate your head towards your right shoulder. As you inhale, your head goes back. As you exhale, it comes down again. Then switch and rotate in the opposite direction. This is 1 cycle. You would do this 3 times. And for the 5th and final neck practice, rotate your shoulders forward. As you inhale, go up. As you exhale, come down. Do this 3 times. Now rotate your shoulders backward. As you inhale, go up. As you exhale, come down. Do this 3 times.
Hope you like that video. So let's practice this. Do this every day in the morning. You will never get a neck pain, and your whole day will be more successful. Your lethargy, your sleepiness, drowsiness, everything will be not there as it was explained. And also when you do a yoga exercise, you always try to face the east. because that is where the sun is rising. And also you try to remove, if you are wearing any spectacles or glasses, and before you start the yoga exercise, you have to do those little things. Right. So we will come to one of the most interesting part, that is the Sita or mind. So where this mind or Sita resides in our body. Some people say it's in your brain. Some say it's in our heart. Some say it's everywhere in our body. But this lady who's a physio or psychologist, she says mind is a function of the brain. It's a brain function. Now, for an example, we see a person, a beautiful girl, or a very handsome man, or a very nice environment. What happens is that thought comes to our body through the six senses, one of the six senses, and it turns into a liking or disliking. Then the total chemistry of your body changes, and there'll be output, a good or a sad output or a happy output. So if there's thoughts, then it becomes a feeling, and there's a body reaction, then there'll be outcome. So all this happens with your mind. So beauty or the ugliness is everything not in that person or that place. It's in you. So because how can one person is nicer to a person, A person, and B person doesn't like it. So it's all to do with our mind. So we'll be talking this as we go along. So mind is like a child. You have to be safeguard, or you have to be make sure that mind is properly managed. So in order to manage your mind, you need mindfulness. So we will be talking that. So you have seen the cows, how they eat. So what they do is they first swallow, they munch and swallow, then they put everything out and they try to eat it again. So that is the animal way of eating food. So aren't we doing the same thing by living in the past? So living in the past is whatever that has happened to us, we tend to discuss, have opinions, all that. So that is animal thinking. So for you to be human, you have to be always here and now. That is in the present moment. So this is what this Miss Samita Atuldorarachi has discussed, and she is on YouTube. So together we can build this country. Why I have put this line is we all the time are negative about this country and the things that happens. So it doesn't make any good to our body or to our mind, because you must always have a positive thought. Right. So these are the benefits of practicing mindfulness. In other words, we call it mind your own business. Quality of sleep, you can sleep well, and also you can wake up very fresh way. Now, most of the people who practice mindfulness doesn't use alarm clocks. Either it's a mobile phone or a normal alarm clock. What they do is they know, or they think before they go to sleep, and this is the time that I'm going to wake up. So exactly that time, they will be waking up with a very fresh mind and a body. So this is tried and tested. So we'll be doing this as we go along, and it improves relaxation. What is relaxation? We have been used to relax ourselves just by sitting in front of a TV or listening to music or do a chit chat. So even I was used to that. When we go home, we either sit in front of the television, take our food, a plate of food that we have, and we discuss and eat it. But it doesn't relax. It may relax your body, but not your mind. So for your mind to be relaxed, you have to do away with the thoughts and we will be discussing and practicing how to relax ourselves. And it reduces heart rate, decreases blood pressure. Very important. That's why I started by saying that most of the non-communicable diseases can be eradicated, and it will be zero if you properly practice mindfulness. And there you can have good social relationships. Why? The reason being, when you are inside, you will thinking about yourself. When you think about yourself, you know, I'm a person who wants always to be happy, not to get angry. So we will do the same thing to the other person who is working with you or who is residing with you. It's called empathy in other words. So in order to understand another person, first thing that you are supposed to do is to understand yourself. So when you have empathy and understanding between two or a group of people, together you will get or take responsible decisions. So that is what for any corporate, any home front, any social group needs. And also you will build up confidence to speak up in any forum. You will have confidence to speak up. And most importantly, why I put in green color is understanding change, because everything changes in every second. We all know that, because this has been proven through quantum physics, because each particle or subatomic particle in our body changes very fast. But we don't see that, we don't understand. But if we can train our mind, the subconscious mind, they say, we can tend to see this. Because our conscious mind, the speed of conscious mind is about 500 or 5,000 less speed than our subconscious mind, which we don't understand because we are not in the present moment. So if you can train your mind to be that, you can do wonders in this life. And also when you practice mindfulness, you are happy all the time because you are in the present moment. Your unhappiness, everything happens when you are living in the past or trying to solve problems for the future. So if you are be in the present moment, you are always happy and you will be having power to do a lot of good things. And you will not tend to fight fear, anxiety, depression will not be there. Most importantly, the diligence and the vigilance will be improved. So most of the time, as we all know, we are putting our foot on the accelerator all the time. We are trying to beat the other person. We are always trying to speed up. But if we can be a clutch or a brake or a suspension, we will tend to see the things that's happening around us and we tend to enjoy our lives. So we will try to do that. We will be, as I inform you, during and after this session, you will be transformed to a person, a better person, or totally a different person. And when you have mindfulness, there are things that you will tend not to do. You will have the fear and shame. When you are not mindful, only you tend to do certain things without concerning the external party. So this is a slide which I got from one of my participants. Why mindful matters. I will just go through it. You can see it. It helps you find peace and gratitude. Always you tend to have gracious or gratitude towards another person and your mind is always peaceful. It shows from your face and it helps you to let go of emotional baggage. Most of the time we are worried. Why? Because we keep a lot of unnecessary things in our mind and we try to fight that. So with mindfulness, you tend to clear all this emotional baggage and it's good for your heart. So each and every time I tell you this, it can boost your immune system. We have found in Satipasala before and after getting corona, and most of our participants didn't get corona because they were mindful. We were catching this virus because either we are touching our eyes or touching our nose or touching our ears. So if you are mindful, you will not do that. So that's why we were supposed to wear a mask, then your mind says that you have something to be guard against. But if you practice mindful, that is the most special thing or safety that you have in your life. It improves your focus and memory, very important, and it relieves stress and anxiety. You know that stress happens when you try to live in your past, and anxiety is when you try to solve problems in future. If you think that some things cannot be happen or cannot be done, and anxiety goes high, and it makes even ordinary moments magical. You don't need a third person to have fun or have this moment. So this, if you can live in this moment, this normal ordinary moments also are magical, and most importantly, it helps you find meaning in life. So when you are in this present moment, there is a meaning. This is what I am trying to achieve in our lives. So moving on. So these are little definition of Satya or Siya. Siya is in Sinhala, we call it Siya. It is the Pali version of Siya is Satya, because this is coming from about 2,600 years ago. A person called Gautama. He introduced this concept after attaining enlightenment. How to practice this, how to train your mind to achieve things. So this, whatever the things that we are trying to discuss is a secular one. It is not attached to a religion, but the Satipatthana or the Siya Pituima in Sinhala was introduced to this world 2,600 years ago by Lord Buddha. So we have to respect that. And also it improves emotional literacy, and it is not coercive, and it is whatever that we are doing is not reactive, and it's a kind of a preventive thing that we are doing. If you can remember what you when you are watching the first video that we watch. So in most of the Western countries, they use mindfulness as a therapeutic session. But here, what we are trying to inculcate is as a preventive measure. They try to practice mindfulness when we are sick, when they are stressed, or when you cannot cope up with the day-to-day things. So here, what we are trying to do is as a preventive measure, and it's called in simple words, it's high thinking and simple living. So most of the practitioners who practice mindfulness are very simple people like me. Okay, right. So if somebody wants to describe mindfulness in 2 words, it's diligence and vigilance. So what is diligent and vigilant? You all know we are just trying to put something into your mind. So diligent is constant in effort to accomplish something, attentive and persistent in doing anything, a diligent student. So practicing mindfulness make you to be diligent. If you start something, you tend to finish it and make sure that you put your 100% effort to accomplish that. Also, the second definition, it says dana, pursued with persevering attention, a diligent search of find. And what is vigilant? Keenly watchful to detect danger, way of vigilance, sentry, ever awake and alert. So falling in your toilet, knocking on doors, forgetting your car keys, all that will be not there if you properly practice mindfulness. This is, as I told you, tried and tested. So this is what we are trying to put into your mind, the happiness and joy and quality of life. Every one of us wants to be happy. And also we wants to have a quality of life. So all this time we were used to get or have happiness or joy from outside world. Like we are trying to go on a trip or go on a vacation and try to get that happiness and joy from the outside world. But they have understood, they have found out that happiness and joy is within you. It is with you, which need to be experienced by yourself. When you experience your happiness and joy, it shows from the outside world. So what we are trying to do today is to understand that happiness, where it stems from, how to enjoy life, and how to share that happiness with others. I will just go through this quote: happiness and joy through inside out. While we can't control situations, events, or circumstances that life throws our way, so we discuss this. We are always trying to discuss or solve outside problems. We always have a choice about how we choose to react or respond to these situations. So we cannot control the outside situation, but we have the ability not to react, but to respond to the situation that throws our way, for which you need to be mindful. So this is, if you are not a person who practice mindfulness, you have an activating event, you straight away react to that. But if you practice mindfulness, you have beliefs that you have this ability to how to react to that activating event. So, but we are used to react to situation, not to respond. In order to respond, you need to be in the present moment. You have to be practicing and find out these are the good thoughts and the bad thoughts coming into our mind. So based on that only we will respond ourselves. And this is a different way of looking at this joy and happiness. Joy is an inner feeling. Happiness is an outside expression. Joy endures hardship and trials and connects with meaning and purpose. A person pursues happiness but chooses joy. So joy is an inner feeling. We always try to show the other party that we are happy. But if you are not, if you don't have your joy inside your heart, it will not sustain. So this is a beautiful picture, because as at now, no one has found out how the mother's blood, the red color blood, turns into white color milk. So this is a bond that never be broken. So I have just becoming little sentimental in here, because we are talking about emotions. And we as per our agenda, we'll be talking about stress and tension, because gone are the days now. Everybody, when they ask a question, I am stressed machan, at a product pressure එක තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. But when we were learning, I think Yajith will recall, we never heard that this stress is happening to humans. We were taught when we were doing our O-levels with this Kappi and Tantuala, these wheels and there's a stress levels we calculate using formulas. Then when we came to A-levels, we were taught how a ball, when you put it down and just roll it, how it goes and stop in a particular time and particular place. And it depends on the surface of the roughness of the surface and the weight of the ball, all that we used to calculate. But we never knew about stress happening to us human beings. Maybe because of our environment, maybe because of the eating habits, maybe our upbringing, all that. But here, now, if you take, everybody is going through stress and tension. What is this? I'm sure everyone is awake so far, because I can't see anybody has switched on the video. It's okay. So this is a user manual. Before we purchase something or equipment, we go through the user manual and see whether that is the one that we need. So have we got used to looking at ourselves and see our user manual? There's a faculty that's about 1,300 grams of weight, and it has billion neurons or billions messages that goes in and out, and it is the most sophisticated equipment in this world, that is our brain. So we said mind or sati or siya is a function of the brain. So brain weighs about 1,300 to 1,400, made up of about 100 billion nerves. The most complex living structure on the earth makes us who we are. So that's why whoever created human being, the head is on top of the body. So I will just go through, you all know this, just to refresh your mind. Neurons are the fundamental units of the brain and nervous system. The cells responsible for receiving sensory input from the external world and sending motor commands to our muscles. So this is, the nervous system is the thing that allows you to move these hands, moves your body, moves your feet. Because I can just remember a scenario when I was working for Coca-Cola. My manager, my immediate manager, was suffering with this motor neuron disease, where he was a school swimmer. He gets this command from his brain, but he cannot move his hands or feet according to the signal that gives from the brain cells. So one day we were just discussing, he just fell on his face. He couldn't just put his hands and stop the falling. So that is the day that I thought I am going to leave Coca-Cola, because I had to wait till he died to become the procurement manager. And also the brain is like a computer that controls the body's function, and the nervous system is like a network that relays messages, because the brain is the one that let us do whatever that we are doing right now. So that's why I'm just taking little time just to explain. But this sophisticated thing that we have never given that much attention. So we have three brains as we gather. One is the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain. So there were people who were having 7 brains also, no? We can remember. So head brain analyzes information and applies logic. The heart brain senses the world through emotions. We know when we do management, you try to manage through your head and lead by your heart. And there's another part of us, the gut brain, which is very important to us. Most of us are suffering with this, the constipation, all these digestive issues. So we tend to understand that there's a brain in our gut as well. We say, so it's hidden in the walls of the digestive system. This brain in your gut is revolutionizing medicine's understanding of the link between digestion, mood, health, and even the way you think. We know that when we are stressed and when we want to do something good, our bowel conditions changes. So scientists call this little brain enteric nervous system. Just to take a break, we will listen to this video, very important video. Just take the message into your mind. All of us do not tend to value our time with us. So listen to this.
I'm sure you've been taking care of your mind while you've been eating your food. Just let's take that care one step forward. How much time does it take to have a meal? 10 minutes? Sometimes even less than 10 minutes. But yet, we find so many things to do while having our meal. What was the 10 minutes meant for? Just for having the meal. Can I not give 10 minutes to myself? That meal is energy for my mind and my body. My mind and my body, which is going to do everything throughout the day. Can I not give 10 minutes to charge that mind and body, which is going to do everything then the whole day? Do I have to talk on the phone while eating? Do I have to watch television while eating? Do I have to read a newspaper while eating? Do I have to have a meeting while eating? Do I have to drive while eating? Do so many things have to be done just during those 10 minutes? Do I have to discuss a problem while eating? Am I going to gossip while eating? Is that the time? I'm energizing. Can I afford to do anything which depletes my energy just in those 10 minutes? 10 minutes of having a meal were meant to be in silence, were meant to be complete focus only on what I am eating, taking in every morsel with attention, with awareness, mindful eating. But if I'm watching television, if I'm watching the news, if I'm watching a movie, what am I thinking while eating? Is this energy which I need for my mind and my body? Just a decision. Very simple. Don't allow your mind to say, no, that's the only time I get. No. Tell your mind, that's the most important time for me. And I'm going to start giving that important time for me. Take yourself away. Sit separately in office. Don't have office conversations while having your lunch. It's 10 minutes. It's your break. Even if you want to have a conversation, let it be a happy conversation. Let it not be a conversation which is discussing work. You have the entire day to discuss that. Let it not be a conversation talking about problems. Let it be a happy conversation, or spend those 10 minutes just with yourself. In the evening, dinner at home, everyone's had a long day. Everyone has a lot to talk about, but not in those 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes are not for talking what went wrong in the day. Those 10 minutes are not for talking what financial resources we need more, what are the issues before the family, and definitely not those 10 minutes to have an argument, to have a difference of opinion. We are eating. We are eating. We have to remember, it is a divine experience to have your meal. Take a decision and implement it from tomorrow. You'll find a magical difference in yourself. Prioritize. 10 minutes 3 times a day is my time. It's my time. There will be no gadget in my hand, no paper in my hand, no watching television, and no idle conversation. It's my time. And definitely not hurried while eating, running around while eating, grabbing your breakfast and running out of the house and saying, we've made it a part of our vocabulary, I grabbed a bite. You don't grab food. You're not just going to stuff something into yourself or stuff something into your child just before the child is running to school. This is not energizing. Eating has to be done with a very silent mind, and body also has to be still. So no running with the food, no driving with the food, just being. The food and me is a divine experience. Sit back again, look at how your meals were today. The fruit that you were eating, the cup of tea. Was there any wrong conversation while having tea at work? Any gossip or problem discussion while having lunch? It's over from today. A new way of thinking, a new way of having my meals. Me with myself. 10 minutes for energizing that mind and body, which plays all the roles and responsibilities throughout the day. I owe that 10 minutes to myself. In silence, or just having a light, happy conversation. I am a happy being, and I energize my every meal. It's my time, and I promise myself 10 minutes 3 times a day.
Shall we do it from today? You all have not had your dinner. So it's energy for our mind and body. So we never tend to value the meal that we get. But most of the time, we were either in front of the TV or listening to somebody or having a discussion while we are eating. We don't know what's that goes inside the body. So in Sinhala අපි කියන්නේ අපි අනනකොට හපන්න නරකයි හපනකොට අනන්න නරකයි. So whenever that you munch, you never try to mix your food. So it's a total concentration on what we do. So some people think that when you do that, it takes more time, but no, it's already tried and tested. You will tend to enjoy your food. And also, if you can munch, it's a figure just we discussed, it's about 30 times, you will never going to get gastritis, cholesterol, because all the enzymes in your mouth gets into that food and it allows you to do the digesting properly. So these are the people behind this concept, which I always value and give credit to. One is Jagadesh Vasudev Sadhguru, the yoga we discussed or we saw that comes from him, and Mr. Deepa Suryarachi, who introduced this mindfulness to the corporate sector. Kevin Ramsey was my lecturer at Academy of Modern Applied Psychology, and Satipasala, where I now resides. It is started by Venerable Udayiregama Dhammajiva, 2015, and his second in command is Ven Panadure Arya Dhammatero, and Dr. Sanath Mahavitan. I learned a lot from him. He's one of our gifted or very honorable alumni of our alumni. He did a session on mindfulness, so I have taken some of his learnings to this presentation as well. So I always have gratitude to these people. And these are the certificates that I want to showcase, which I got from this. And in 1970s, there was two students from Harvard University. One is David Richardson, other one is Daniel Goleman. So both of them wanted to see what are the changes that happens to your mind when you, or your brain rather, when you do meditation. So they came to India and also visited Sri Lanka, and they met Dalai Lama, and they did very strenuous research, and they argued that most of the humans who do meditation, their brain functions, the structure of the brain changes. Through MRI scans and CT scan, they found out there is a structural change that happens inside your brain. Because gone are the days when we were small, we were taught after 13, 14, your brain is like a solid thing, it never changes. But with the advent of neuroplasticity, now we have found out a brain is like a plastic, it can be changed. So I will just read this. Through meditation practice induces functional and structural brain modifications, especially in areas involving attention, executive functions, and memory formation. So it do a lot of good to your brain when you practice mindfulness. And also the effect of meditation on brain structure, cortical thickness mapping, and diffusion tension. So there is a prefrontal cortex in the brain. So it changes the gray matter. I have a video on that. We will go through that once we come to that level. So it's scientifically proven. And also the studies have shown employees who practice mindfulness actually gain 62 minutes of productivity each week, because you tend not to do mistakes if you are mindful. And also 62 minutes of productivity each week to go along with less stress, less pain, and better sleep. It's a Forbes Human Resource Council study. Now it's 8:35. I will take another 10 minutes, Yajith, to complete my presentation. Thinking inside out. So Daniel Goleman, one of those students, with his studies, he has come out with this: by teaching people to tune into their emotions with intelligence and to expand their circles of caring, we can transform organization from inside out and make a positive difference in our world. So this is what we are trying to, this is a message we are trying to give you through this CEMBA Alumni CPD. So we will try this. You will be having a proper transformation in your organization. So when you practice mindfulness, your resilience levels improves. Responsible decision, there are 10 areas that we will be discussing. This is not the time to go into detail. Facing challenges, teamwork, leadership, efficiency and effectiveness, working under pressure, negotiation, very important areas that any company, any organization, any family needs. So all this can be improved if you practice, most importantly, work-life balance. And research finds mindfulness can physically change brain structures. We discussed this. Mindfulness and intentional state of focus, non-judgmental awareness of the present moment, doesn't just foster a present moment calm. We will be doing a very short session, a formal sitting session. Scientists find it can be a powerful tool for altering and strengthening key brain networks for the better. So not only it improves your focus, your memory, also the brain functions improves with this practice. So we will listen to this neuroscientist findings in this next video. Just listen mindfully and watch mindfully without distraction.
Good morning. So when I was in graduate school, I was a runner, and a friend and I decided that we were going to run the Boston Marathon. And so we started training, and we overtrained, and I developed knee and back problems. So I went to see a physical therapist, and they told me that I had to stop running, and instead I should just stretch. As I was leaving the therapist's office, the physical therapist's office, I saw an ad for a vigorous yoga class that promised not only to promote flexibility, but also to promote.
I think, ladies and gentlemen, there is a technical problem. We will start this session again. We have with us today Dean of the Faculty, Professor Nalin, and I would like Professor to share his thoughts because he is our driving force as well as he is our mentor, and also he is our advisor always. So since the time is also precious, I am not going to introduce him. May I now invite Professor Nalin to speak for a few minutes. Professor, over to you.
Yes, Mr. Yajith, thank you very much. I think I should always congratulate all our alumni members, including Dr. Dhananjaya, Mr. Yajith and all, because this should be the way, like, the country is in trouble and people always get confused. You need to have a good mindfulness with you. I think this sort of a session is always helpful. And more importantly, we can see very good number participation. Indika, Sisil, all our like alumni members, they are doing wonderful job with the leadership of Mr. Asanka Senevirathne, also giving that expected leadership. So I also like engage with this mindfulness, but sometimes if you take more time, then our mindfulness also going here and there. But that also part and parcel of the mindfulness, I guess, Mr. Yajith. So that by looking at that particular context, I think I feel like this webinar on happiness and joy throughout inside out is really helpful. And also we need to embed it for this sort of webinars for the modules for the CEMBA program as well. Thank you very much for Dr. Dhananjaya and all by having this, and we are like having very much like by looking at you and by looking at the entire students, we are very fortunate to have a good alumni, and more importantly, Mr. Yajith always moderating with all the interest and the enthusiasm. All the best, all the best.
Thank you, Professor. Actually, as you said, this could be, I mean, we can have this session and include these things to the models, Because if you really go through the historical things, and as Dr. Dhananjay said, when you get back to our childhood, these sort of stress conditions were not there at all. And also, as Dr. Dhananjay said, mind is not a dustbin or a garbage yard, but it has become such in the current scenarios, current situation, that is the whole trouble. So let's wait for Dr. Dhananjay to join. There are a few questions to ask. I think he has a technical issue. I'm sure our team will be able to help Dr. Dhananjay. In the meantime, we have seen the participation of Mr. Nilantha Kalupahan, Head Department of HRM practicing, also with us. Glad to see their participation. Indika, Dr. Dhananjay is still not connected.
He's still not connected.
Yes, will you be able to assist him to connect, because time is also precious. Few things what Dr. Dhananjay said, user manual, and also the video gives us a good indication that when we take our meals, we don't practice properly and we don't concentrate on taking our meals. Our mind is elsewhere. So we can really focus the mindfulness, I'm sure, from these points Dr. Dhananjay shared with us, is very useful for us, and we'll be much relaxed. There's a famous say, and you know, all of us know that a child brain is very clear. We call a child is a Sundara Manasa, but that particular mind, when people go into their age, is full of garbage, because we are not being mindful. We are thinking about outside the world, not inside. So these are little things. I think Dr. Dhananjay is now joining. Let's hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Madhush. I'm really sorry, because I'm joining from my office soon after our board meeting, but that's not an excuse. I should have been prepared properly. Will you, Yajith, shall you go through the video? I think it got stuck.
Yeah, I think the time is one reason, Dr. Dhananjay. Yeah, it got stuck.
Okay.
You can go to the next slide.
Without going through the video,
yes,
is it?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
we'll do that. Okay, thank you.
Useful,
thank you.
But yes.
Yeah, I understand. Yes, it can be watched. It's in YouTube, but not the discussion, as you correctly said.
Yeah.
So neuroplasticity we discussed, and this is another area that we are trying to discuss very briefly. We always have a monkey brain or a mind, because it always goes to the past or the future, or with a person or a place. So we need to have a mind like a cat. We always know how this cat walks, and whenever he wants to do something, how slowly and mindfully he does that. So we always discuss this SMS. SMS is not short message service. It says slowly, mindfully, and silently. If you can do everything slowly, in a leisurely, and mindfully and silently, you can achieve with clear comprehension. And also mindfulness improves quality of life. So I will just rush through any clarification we are not going to discuss. So this is a question that I asked from most of the audience. When we do this, when you see it, you want to eat it, but then you regret it. So this is, whenever we get a very brief moment of time, we tend to use this. Either go to our phone or to our laptop, and whenever the data runs out, only we realize, but in vain we have wasted time. So that because of this, most of the people are now moving to dumb phones rather than smartphones. So catalyst for mindfulness, birthright of humanity. So we discussed this, what Satipasal is. Another thing that we always try to show is this. We have no time. So Yajith will do a very brief sitting meditation, which everybody can practice this. We will take another 5 minutes to do a formal practice. We have two formal practices. which we were taught in Satipasala. One is mindful sitting, other one is mindful walking. So we will do a very brief mindful sitting exercise. If you now, I'm sure everyone is seated comfortably. Just see whether your left and the right side is very symmetrical and very balanced. If you are seated very comfortably and there is no tightness in your whatever the garments that you wear, if that is the case, keep your body erect, comfortably erect, and your neck has to be erect. And if you have a very comfortable posture, we'll slowly close our eyes. Only thing what we are trying to think is, now I am here. So try to listen to the sounds that coming from the further away and the sounds that comes closer to you. So most closest is my voice. Listen to that. To listen to this properly, you are living in the present moment. We'll take a deep breath, hold it for a while, and slowly release. See whether these things are happening in your body. We take our mind to our head. Our hair is properly combed. Our forehead is very relaxed. Our eyebrows are not crooked because we are in a very relaxed mood. Eyes are closed. We can feel a polished surface or looking at a mirror, and we can see like bulbs illuminating. We have closed our eyes before also, but we were not closing our mind or rather the eyes mindfully. Because of that, we didn't see that, but now we can see it. Now take your mind to your nostrils, rims of your nostrils. You can feel your breathing in and breathing out, your inhalation and exhalation. That means you are here now. Still, your mind will wander for things that you have done yesterday or this morning, or things you are planning to do tomorrow. Both are not important to you right now. You can't do anything about what has happened and what are the plans you are trying to do for tomorrow. You don't know whether it's going to happen. And also our mind will run to a place or a person. That is the normal nature of mind. Only thing what we are trying to do is understanding that wandering mind. It will come back to our posture. Don't worry. Your lips are touching each other very softly. Now you can feel it. And your tongue is not giving no pressure to your teeth. You can just move your tongue through your teeth and see, feel it. That means you are in the present moment. Your chin is straight, your neck is straight, your back is straight. That means your circulation, blood circulation happens in a normal way. You can feel your stomach contracting and coming out. And you can feel a tightness in your garments that you are wearing. Just feel it. You can feel your body's weight is on your buttocks. It's touching your chair or the cushion that you are seated. Same with your thighs. Your legs are bent from your knees. You know that. You can feel it. Your feet are touching the floor. It's not like standing. There is very less weight. You can feel it. Again, we will go backwards. Your knees are closed, bent. Your thighs are giving pressure to the chair that you are seated. Same with your buttocks. Your back is straight. Your neck is straight. Your chin is straight. At this moment of time, most of the humans around us who are living abroad are maybe in a stressful situation. We are not like that. We are very lucky. We are living in this present moment. That means we are living life. So we can have a very slight smile to our faces. We are a very lucky bunch of people. Now in the present moment, there is no hatred, there is no angriness, there is no craving. It's a pure mind. So that means we are all humans. We are breathing in unison. Our lips are touching each other. Our tongue is not giving any pressure to our teeth. We can feel it. We can feel our breathing. That means we are not have fallen asleep or we are not unconscious. We are living. Our eyes are closed. We can see like looking at a mirror or a very polished surface. Our eyebrows are not stressed. It's very relaxed. Same with our forehead. And our hair is combed properly. Still, my friends, our mind will wander to the past or try to plan things for the future. Both things are not important. And also it may wander to a person or to a place. Our objective is to identify that, feel that only. We are not going to get angry with our mind. As it went away with the posture, it will also come back. Feel the silence, how beautiful and how relaxing our mind is. Our challenge is to make our body as an anchor to make sure that our mind is also in the present. Because all the time, our body is in the present moment. The mind is the one that wanders. Again, take a deep breath. Hold it for a while. Release it slowly. And there are things in our body that happens without our effort, without our conscience. The whole body works at the moment. It transports the blood from one place to another. The food that we have taken is digesting. It's like a factory inside us. So we will try to concentrate on one area. It can be our stomach or it can be our breath. As we started by saying, breathing out and breathing in is a miniature of our lives. So we will try to look at our breath and understand when the breath goes in, that's inhalation, and it is not the exhalation. and it will start, happens for a while, it will stop and turn into an exhalation, breathing out. So try to experience that. We are not going to put an effort for breathing. Our challenge or our job is to look at the breathing as we watch a teledrama or look at a film. Try to feel your inhalation in the rims of your nostrils and your exhalation top of your upper lip. And when we do this practice properly, you can feel that your inhalation is much cooler than your exhalation. There are a lot of things that happens, a lot of things that you can learn to really concentrate on your breath. We are all lucky people. When you live in this present moment, everybody is the same. Our breath is in unison. We don't have any hatred towards anybody. We are humans. We gently open our eyes. I think there is a magical change, a proper relaxation has happened to ourselves. So there are only 2 slides, Yajith, please bear with me. So when you do something, do it in the proper concentration. I will just read it through. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world, earth, revolves. Slowly, evenly, without rushing towards the future. Live the actual moment. Only this is moment is life. So most of our lives, we have not lived our lives. We were planning to live. Why? I'm saying that we were in the past or the future. We were not trained to be in the present moment. So whatever that we do, you can do thinking that what we are doing, it can be brushing your teeth, it can be putting your lace in your shoe, whether household chores, everything can be done. So when I do this to a corporate, one of the gentlemen asked, I'm so successful in our corporate lives. I'm happily married. I have 0 sicknesses. Why I do practice mindful or rather mindfulness. So I asked him a basic question. He's a male. How many buttons are there in your shirt? And he couldn't answer. Ladies and gentlemen, there are only 6 buttons without the button that we used to tie our tie. But we have never put a button our shirt mindfully. So with that note, I will just run through this social and emotional learning. What is social and emotional learning? This is a very important subject. We are trying to introduce to the school curriculum. Already the approval is given. So when you practice mindfulness, you are aware about yourself and you know how to control your emotions. When you try to control your emotions, you have social awareness about other person, empathy, and then you have relationship skills. And once you have that, you do a responsible decision. This is a model used by one of the psychologists or a doctor called Rasita. He shared with us during our training. So I'm not going to go through this. This will be available in YouTube. So finally, how mindfulness has saved lives. Most of you must have seen this film, 13 Lives, where a group of school children, after a football match, they were stuck in a cage or a cave with his coach, and they were there for more than 12 days without food, without water. The only thing that they did was they didn't waste their energy thinking of the trouble they were in. They were be mindful, living on the present moment. Because most of the time when you have a physical illness or a physical wound, what happens is the over and above that physical pain, you tend to make your mind also feel that. So if you can take your mind out of that physical pain, it will always go away. So that is what this coach did for these children, but they were anesthetized and taken out of the cave, but all survived. All 13 boys survived. So after about 2 days, the whole cave was submerged by water. So this is the actual picture of those people after they came out of the cave. So mindfulness improves quality of life. We discussed this, so try to practice this. You will be a happy person. So this is what we spend this little time with you. So hopefully some message must have gone to you. So this is a practice that we are supposed to do individually. So results and the outcome is for yourself. So it has to be done diligently and vigilantly. So then only the total benefit can be gained. So this is my last slide. Happy employees create a thriving workplace culture, and that's always good for business. And this return on investment and mindfulness, they have found out, in fact, reports suggest that stress results in as much as $300 billion in lost productivity annually and 1 million absent workers every day. So if you can train your mind to be in the present moment, most of the time before you react to something, you think twice. No, most of the time we will not try to solve the problems of the external parties, and it improves our well-being. So very sorry about the exceeded time and the technical failure. So with that note, I'll wish you all have the courage and the ability to find the peace in mind and be happy all the time. Over to you, Yajith.
Thank you, Dr. Dhananjay. I think you are trying to give a message, definitely a big message in a shorter period of time. And we had a bit of a technical error as well. As you said, human mind is, the productivity of the human mind is unlimited. But that mind is fully, they are not utilizing the mind, as you says, in your technical, there was technical error I told, since the minds or your mind has become a dustbin today due to you are not in the present moment. You are trying to fight outside, not inside. This is the philosophy is in the world, introduced by our Lord Buddha, and all due respect to Lord Buddha for giving all that message to us. Thank you very much for trying to share this message to the audience. I'm sure they would have a good message. In your absence, Professor Nalin also shared his thoughts. There is one question in the chat box. May I invite Mr. Asanka to unmute his mic and ask that question, please? Mr. Asanka, over to you. Mr. Asanka? Yeah, looks like, yes. There was a question from you.
Yeah, that makes stress in a positive way because I
feel
Hello.
stressful for some energy from the Dr. Dharanje.
Your voice is not.
Dr. Dharanje, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, but your voice tend to breaking. Yeah.
Break.
Yeah. How does a person leverage his stress in a positive way? As what I believe, stress also brings some learnings and fuel for some energy. This is just I wanted to ask from you.
Yes, Mr. Asanka, thank you very much for that question. We have been always trying to share this message with everyone. You have seen people or say 100-meter runner before it starts running, what it does, he or she does to their body. They either try to, hit your muscles and try to stretch your muscles. That is, in a way, giving some kind of a stress to your body before you start running. Yes, there should be some kind of a stress before you start something. But only thing, Mr. Asanka, is if it goes beyond your control, it becomes a bad stress. So before you are a lecturer and you're completing your PhD, so there is a kind of a stress that comes into it. But only thing that happens is when you try to do something, say you're facing an exam or trying to complete your studies, if you don't have time and if you are not properly prepared, your outcome, you will always have anxious or a mind where you will not be able to achieve what you are trying to achieve. But if you can understand this feeling that comes to your body, you will not be stressed out for the situation, because everything changes. Every happiness, every sadness is not a permanent thing, it changes. So one of the things that we come out of applying mindfulness is this change. So we tend to understand that change and it will be beneficial. So as you very correctly said, stress is needed for your life, but only thing is if it goes beyond your control only, it becomes a problem for you. Hope I answered your question, Mr. Asanka.
Thank you, Dr. Dhananje.
Dr. Dhananjay, there is another one question. What is the gift of being present? Will you please explain?
Okay. Gift of being present, I think we went through, if you can remember, our second or the third slide. So gift is the happiness and the well-being. So that is the outcome of being in the present moment. So when you are in the present moment, you know you don't have any hatred. There is no angry situation that comes to mind, because most of the time we are angry, or we get we call in a vocabulary upset, because what has happened to us previously or in the past, or a person has done something wrong. But in this world, Yajith, nobody will behave or nobody will do things the way you want it to happen. So if you can understand, we are working or we are living with a totally different people, different understanding, different educational level, different experiences, then it's easy for us to go through this life. So gift, there are a lot of gifts. There's no one single gift. It improves your immunity. That is one gift, and you can relax properly. And most importantly, you will be happy all the time. So it shows from yourself and it shows to the outside party. So there are a lot of gifts that comes with being in the present moment.
Absolutely, Dr. Dhananjay. Thank you very much. Since we are running short of time, we'll wind up the session. Before winding up, we have another webinar. We have planned the artificial intelligence, third week of this month. For all the participants, we are just giving an open invitation, and we will share the flyer. And may I now invite one of our committee members, Mr. Patric Anthony, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Patric.
Thank you, Mr. Yajith. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of the CEMBA-CEMPA Alumni Association of the Faculty of Management Studies at the Open University of Sri Lanka and its entire fraternity, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Dr. Dharmarathne, the president of the CEMBA-CEMPA Alumni Association, for his amazing and valuable presentation titled Happiness and Joy Through Inside Out. We are all inspired by your sharing, which is timely. I am sure that all the participants gained immense knowledge from your presentation, which is a great source of information applicable in our daily busy lives, being mindful. I must express our deep sense of appreciation to our Vice Chancellor, Professor P.M.C. Tilakaratne, for his wonderful support and guidance to our association. Unfortunately, Professor Tilakaratne is unable to attend today's event due to an unavoidable last-minute commitment. But thank you, sir, for all your great support. A big thank you to Professor Nalin Abeysekera, Dean of the Faculty of Management at the Open University of Sri Lanka, for being our strength, motivator, and above all, an amazing mentor to the CEMBA-CEMPA Association. Thank you, sir, for gracing this webinar with your participation and a beautiful address that you made to us. I also would like to express our sincere thanks to Mrs. Vindhya Jayasena, the Registrar of the Open University, for your unwavering support and guidance to our association in many ways. Thank you, Madam, for being with us at this webinar too. I'm also very grateful to our moderator, Mr. Yajith Silva, who steered this beautiful event. Your dedication and commitment are noteworthy always. Thank you, Mr. Yajith. We wish to express our gratitude to all the participants who attended this webinar today. I'm sure that you will agree with me that your time was meaningfully spent. Without your presence and participation, this webinar would not have been a success. Well, this marks our 10th successful webinar. An event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels started rolling weeks ago. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated colleagues of the CEMBA-CEMPA Executive Committee who know their job and are result-oriented. Thank you, my dear friends and colleagues. Please accept my apologies if I have failed to thank anyone. So finally, we thank you for being with us at this evening. It has been a great pleasure. So thank you very much and good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. We close the webinar. Have a pleasant day and pleasant moment. Dr. Dhananjay.
Thank you very much. Be in the present moment.
Yes.